Hello friends, welcome to my channel Study with Master Notes. Today I will discuss the first question of Certificate in Teaching of English Term and Examination June 2020 CT3 Teaching Strategies. So first question is bit A, similarities between reading and listening. So this first bit questions I will describe on handwritten notes so that you will make the note to get better results. So let's start. Questions. Similarities between reading and listening. So I will describe the answers of similarities between reading and listening. The short notes answer is given. In real life, whenever we get involved in an interpersonal communicative situations, we generate language specific to the context in our own way. We express our thoughts or ideas as they are triggered up in our minds. For doing this, we will not get ready with a predicted dialogue that might suit to a given occasion. So, as a teacher of English or language teacher, we should practice these things. Hence, both reading and listening activities help to learn a language. These are receptive skills. Receptive means these are reception skills. These are receptive skills. That is listening and reading comprehension. The areas which need to be given more attention in the teaching and learning of the English language. Means some input is given so that a listener or learner should encode the input and give the outputs. That's why it's a receptive skills. Then these skills, although called receptive skills, involve active participation on the part of the learner or reader. So these receptive skills should be always two-way communication. Means the receptive skills involve active participation on the part of the learner or reader. Some common trait of both these skills are as follows. So what are the similarities between reading and listening? I will discuss. So first one is predictive skills. So in both reading and listening, there are predictive skills are involved. An efficient listener or reader predicts what she is going to hear or read, and the process of understanding the taste is the process of seeing how the content of the taste matches up to the predictions. So these are the predictive skills. So both listening and learning activities or teachers should acquaint the predictive skills, means extrapolating more question to the learners so that they can guess the meaning. Then come to the second point. So here, first the reader or listener will try to predict as a result of his or her expectation, and she or he continues to listen and read. However, his or her predictions will keep changing as more information is received from the test. Example, parts of India are witnessing a second wave of the COVID 19 pandemic as states like Delhi, Kerala see a fresh jump in the number of confirmed cases. Delhi saw its first peak in the late June when the cases rose to 3,000 per day on an average. The number of daily cases fell beginning July, and by the end of July, Delhi was adding a little over 1,000 cases per day. So here is a part of newspaper paragraphs. So these are reading and listening skills and extrapolating some questions so that a learner could able to read and listen and guess some extra points. After listening and reading this paragraph, the learner can guess how COVID cases increases and in which states of India. So here I am giving Delhi, Kerala, these are the states, and rows the numbers. Okay, so here the learners will able to guess the states of India. Again, by looking at the highlighted part of the unfinished passage, the reader or listener of this passage will be able to say what the writer is going to talk about. So, what the writer is going to talk about, it can trigger the learner's mind. Then, extracting specific information. So, second point is extracting specific information. It is the similarities between reading and listening. So, very often the listener or reader is involved in the use of receptive skills for the sole purpose of extracting information, which I have discussed earlier. The listener may turn on the radio and listen to only old film songs that she wants to hear. So, here the listener very often is involved in the case of use of receptive skills for the sole purpose of extracting information. The listener may turn on the radio and listen to only old film songs that he wants to hear. So, these skills, these skills, when applied to reading, is often called scanning. So, scanning here is the main important things. Means the scanning is to scan the important points and concentrates on extracting specific information. So, here a learner extract some specific information from the passage. Here example is a given. Here is a set of advertisements on admissions to various activities courses. There are various schools, they advertise different courses on activities such as painting, dancing, dramatic activities, anchoring. So these are the activities courses are there. So read and find out which activity center has both Hindustani as well as classical music teaching. So in music there are much more variations in music, Hindustani, classical and other folk songs. So which activities center is providing Hindustani as well as classical music teaching? So a learner should find out these two activity performed center. So here is a scanning process. Again, here is a scanning process. Then come to the point 3, getting the general picture. So here in reading and listening activities, getting the general picture is also a similarities. So here readers and listeners often read or listen to something because they want to get the general picture. They want to read something and as a result of their reading have a general idea of the main points of what they have read. It is the main points that they are interested in, not the details. So here a learner can be able to getting the general picture or general ideas. The skill of getting the general picture then is concerned with rapidly assessing the main points of a text and not paying attention to irrelevance or redundancy or detail. So here the learner doesn't require any repetition or redundancy. Redundancy means repetition. So only a general idea is needed from a picture or a paragraph. In listening, also this skill is necessary, particularly since the speakers often repeat themselves and deviate from the main points. So, without distraction or deviation from main points, a learner can be able to extrapolate the main things or main points or get some general ideas. Okay, so then come to example, that is a activity. Here is a passage. Read the passage and find out what is the general idea of the passage. So you can give some passage to the learner in the class and ask them to extrapolate the general idea of the passage. What is the general idea of the passage? Ask to the learner. Then come to Point number 4, inferring opinion and attitude. It is also a similarities between reading and listening. Inferring opinion and attitude. A reader or listener often has to work out the writer's or speaker's opinions and attitudes, particularly since they are not always directly stated. The experienced reader or listener will know from various clues that she or he receives while reading and listening whether the writer or speaker approves of the topic she is discussing, or whether his or her opinion of, say, the personality she is describing is favorable or not. Here, inferring opinion and attitude, whether it is a paragraph or a tape recorder, tape recording material, the reader or listener often has to work out the writer's or speaker's opinions and attitudes. Okay, so here from the paragraphs or the tape recording material, the reader or listener will know from various clues. The various clues are given or various hints are given that she or he receives while reading and listening whether the writer or speaker approves of the topic that she is discussing, or whether his or her opinion of, say, the personality she is describing is favorable or not. It is the individual opinion of the learner. Then, deducting meaning from context. Here is another similarities. While deducting meaning from context as a reading and listening process, even in the mother tongue, a speaker or a reader often comes across words in written and spoken text that they do not understand. Okay, so various types of mother tongues or native languages are there in all over world. So based on the context in which the word occurs, the sentences, information, and grammar that surrounds it. So, which type of sentences, whether it's the affirmative, negative, or negation, what type of sentences, what type of information that paragraph or that commentary includes, and grammar, what type of grammar used, such as indirect speech or direct speech or passive voice or indirect voice, what type of grammar that used that surrounds it, the reader or speaker guess its meaning. So, deducting meaning from context means deduct the total meaning of the context. Okay, so the reader or speaker guess its meaning. Here also the reader or listener guess the meaning of the text. Usually this guess is right. Usually the guess is right means the reader takes right guess. The point is that deducting of meaning is important for a language user who will often meet unknown words. And as a teachers, we should try to train students in this skill as well to guess the meaning of unknown words. So these are all about the first questions of similarities between reading and listening. Similarities between reading and listening. So, if you like my videos, then please like and subscribe the Study with Master Notes channel, and please share so that your friends will also get some knowledge about it. Thank you, students. Thank you, viewers.